Hello and welcome back to another episode of the HRER podcast, where we delve into the world of HR emergencies and scandals. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to HRER on your favourite podcast platform.
Get ready for scandalous stories, lessons learned, and a generous dose of advice for HR professionals for navigating the HR landscape.
Our goal here is not just to entertain, but also to help you learn from the topics we touch on in order to save your business from its own emergency.
All my working life, I've been at board level in companies where I've been a shareholder director. Eventually, I wanted to run my own business and help small businesses with their health and safety.
Would you say that gives you a unique outlook on health and safety, like a top-down thing?
A well-run company that involves health and safety in its normal day-to-day operations is thinking about its profit. If you've got your processes in place, you've got your safety in place, health and safety can actually save money.
Just before we start, protect your business from the risk of tribunal, reduce legal costs, and save yourself from HR headaches with our Heroes software and employment law consultancy services.
We're back in the red seats and the black seat over there for Simon, our guest today. This is, I think it's going to be our third episode of this series of guests. Yeah, 9th guest ever.
All right, okay.
Congratulations.
Yes,
for
I
being
feel honoured.
Simon. Got Michelle with me again, presenting because Alyssa can't be here, but
Hi.
she does a good job, doesn't she?
I hope so.
It's your first podcast, I'm told.
It is, yes.
You're not nervous?
Not at all.
Not at all. It'll be all right, mate. We're going to talk a little bit about your background first, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So if you can just start us off with sort of what got you here and what you do, mate.
Yeah, sure. All my working life, I've been at board level in companies where I've been a shareholder director. People and operations have always fallen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to a point where eventually I wanted to run my own business and help small businesses with their health and safety. It's something that I recognise is difficult to put in place, isn't always highest on the agenda. So the idea behind Big Mountain Consultancy is that I help put those things in place as seamlessly as possible. The name Big Mountain, in case you're wondering, that came from my love of climbing. Well, not climbing, but trekking.
Okay.
So things like Kilimanjaro, Tupkal in Morocco, anywhere that I can look down and look at the scenery. That's my happy place.
You've been up on all
Yeah.
of them?
And working my way through the Lake District Wainwrights at the moment.
Nice. Very
Nice,
nice. I'm partial myself to a hike.
Good.
Yeah, we'll set the scene. First question. Why does health and safety so often stay on the to-do list rather than move into action? Like you kind of alluded to it there, didn't you?
Yeah. Fundamentally, growth, cash flow, and customer satisfaction and service is, high up there on their agenda. But health and safety it's in there, but it's not a high priority. It's one of those, we must get it done this year, but it'll happen in time. But time's, runs away with itself and it'll be on 2027's list if we're not careful.
It's not a sexy subject, is it?
No,
It's not like Vogue as such.
Correct. And, let's face it, if a business hasn't had an accident or aware of a near miss event or upset employees, then it's just going to be down there lower on the list because it's not pushing its way up there.
So one of the things that we sometimes hear is that, well, we don't have accidents. So, what's the point of having health and safety? We might as well save some money and not bother.
Yeah.
So is that something that you hear and what would you say to that?
Yeah, I hear that often when I'm in conversations with potential clients.
Mm-hmm.
And, let's face it, the fact you haven't had accidents, it's not a good strategy to have. Quite often, if I walk around the factory or the manufacturing environment and speak to the employees, they'll tell me about accidents, near misses, incidents that have happened that just management aren't aware of. So it might feel that everything's okay, but it's just a time bomb waiting to happen. And I think the other thing is some companies have a consistent workforce. So they've got a lot of trust. They're experienced employees. But what they forget is if they're introducing new plant machinery or they're bringing an apprentice on, all those risks are starting to change. And so that likelihood is likely to come quicker than they had anticipated. But if they're not aware of that, it's not on the radar, then, this rosy picture of we don't have accidents just is the mantra. But, it is time. That's the factor in all of this.
Accident waiting to happen, literally. And
yeah.
You get is it predominantly, you mentioned like factories and that? I imagine it's predominantly like blue collar like workplaces that need this sort of training. For example, I live in Scunthorpe. Steelworks there.
Yeah.
Like I've heard no end of stories from my mates about Clive who's nearly fallen off a crane or whatever. But they don't record it anywhere. It's not like near miss book. They just kind of blue collar, we'll get on with it type thing. Yeah. That's something you encounter quite a lot, that kind of attitude.
It is. And, unfortunately, it's down to training and education and actually providing something simple for them to report on. So an app or a WhatsApp group, just so it can be investigated. So what happens is, they wipe the brow. Gosh, we got away with that one. Let's crack on because we're busy.
Yeah.
Whereas really, we need to learn from accidents, near misses, because we can't look at our controls unless we understand what those risks are. But you're quite right. Blue collar workers are at a higher risk. But you can also have organisations where they're sending employees out into the big bad world and coming across, different people for whatever reason that business is in existence. So it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody working at height or working on a forklift truck, that sort of thing. It could literally be interactions with other people that is a high risk because of the nature of that particular business.
Mm-hmm. In the past, I've been a HR consultant where I've actually had to visit sites, so small to medium businesses, some of those being manufacturing plants, retail, whatever. And although I'm not a blue-collar worker, I am having to go on site, walk through the warehouse, walk across the plant, park my car, etc. Do you think it's important to have health and safety plans in place for visitors?
Yes, for employees and visitors. So as you rightly say, you're going from a low risk environment of the office and then straight into the highest risk of that business.
Yeah. Usually from the kitchen table.
Yes, yeah. So, things like clear walkways, signage, high-vis jackets, if that is a need, all these sort of things need to be assessed. To make sure that people that we thought were low risk aren't overexposed and are also aware of what risks are in that other environment and trained on them. That's key. Contractors and visitors is a big thing when I go and get involved with a new client. Very often there's little in place and just signing in and signing out. So if you've got somebody that's going to be doing some repairs on a piece of equipment in the main manufacturing area, it's, do they understand the risks? Have they been had a walkthrough of what those risks are? Does everybody else know they're there and what they're there for? And how are we going to control and keep them safe whilst they're on our site? So these are things that quite often are just assumed will be okay.
Yeah.
But those controls need to be put in place.
Absolutely. I mean, where's the fire exit?
Yes.
What's that noise?
Yes. Yeah.
I've been there and the fire alarm's gone off and someone's gone, well, it's just a test. We do it every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Or what happens if I'd have been in the ladies?
Yes.
Or in an office on my own?
Yeah.
I'd have packed up and gone. Well, I wouldn't have packed up, I'd have just gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've been to companies where, they've had an open plan warehouse and then things have got added. And when you stand there and do a 360, I can't actually see any fire exit signs.
Yeah.
Because everything's grown up around it and they've not reassessed. So these are the sort of things that a good health and safety consultant brings to the table, because they've got that critical eye as they're looking around. They're just not accepting what has become the norm.
Yeah. I mean, there's some scary stuff out there, isn't there?
Yes.
There really is.
Yes, absolutely.
You just brought back some memories to me. Like every other fire alarm I've ever encountered, like someone has gone, that's a test.
Yes.
No matter where I am.
Yeah.
Like I were in JD Gym just down the road and it went off. I looked around, took my headphones off, no one was moving. It's like I probably shouldn't have, but I just put my headphones on and carried on.
Yeah.
I just ignored it.
Yes.
Which, don't do that, anyone.
No,
At home.
absolutely.
No, absolutely not.
Don't do what I did. But people seem pretty convinced it was just a test.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who do you believe
Yeah, absolutely.
in that situation?
Yeah.
Sort of third section I'm going to cover today. I'll give you a title because there's a lot of words in here in terms that I'm not aware of, so I'm hoping you can shed some light on it. Commercial, reality and proportionate safety.
Yes.
You know what that means.
Yes, I do.
I'm glad you know what that means.
Yeah.
So the first question, Simon, many leaders worry that health and safety will slow workflows and impact cash flow. How do you balance the safety with commercial pressure in the real world environment?
Yeah, I mean, I've come from a commercial environment, so I understand that in relation to a business that has to have a priority in there. But in terms of the actual proportions, it's about looking at what risks we have got at that company, what controls we need to put in place, and have we got a budget for it? If we haven't got a budget for everything, then it's okay. So how are we going to change these controls to fit in with the budget for now? And then we'll develop some of these other ideas later without it affecting risk. So it's not just a prescribed, this is what you must do, and I don't really care about the cost. It's taking that into consideration with the business, because you need them to come along the journey, and we've got to start somewhere. So we've got to start with a budget, and it's just got to be reasonable and practical for that company.
You mentioned as well there, like you've got board level experience, so you started off with that in your career type thing, so you built that first. Would you say that gives you a unique outlook on health and safety, like a top-down thing?
Yeah.
And if so, how?
For me, I pride myself having a commercial lens, so I'm looking at health and safety and operations, not just health and safety. So it's not that is a role I've had, health and safety, that's all I'm interested in. It's, as you rightly say, it's board level experience. It's looking at the whole operations, how that health and safety fits in, and importantly, making sure that health and safety does fit in with the operational work practices. If it doesn't, we're always going to have a fighting battle, and we're never going to get health and safety properly embedded. So it also allows me to talk to directors at board level and not be afraid to have those honest and frank conversations, but knowing that I've got their back, and it's literally a case of, okay, well, we've got this potential problem. This is my solution for now. It's going to cost X. Are we okay to do that? Ideally, where we want to be is Z, but I realize we can't afford to do that right now. So let's put this in place, but make sure that we factor in at a later point doing the control we really do want to have. Long-term plan. Yeah, absolutely.
Same sort of question, you're coming at it from that experience. Are you almost going in there saying, listen, like I've had to worry about budget numbers, all this X and Y myself, and you're advising from that standpoint? And do you think that makes you more, I don't want to say believable, but like, do you think that makes you more approachable for them?
It does, because we can relate to each other.
Yeah.
But actually, if we think of that from board level down to floor level, because of that experience that I've had, I realise that for anything to happen, we've got to bring the employees along the journey. So very early on, I'm having conversations with employees, reassuring them that it's not a tick box exercise. I'm not going to be walking around like a militant in a clipboard, just basically disruptive. It's about, look, health and safety. It's not for my benefit, it's for your benefit that we're putting this into play. So I want you to come along this journey with me and the board to put these safety measures in place. But they'll never work unless you input on those safety measures and tell us, are we doing the right thing or not? Or from your perspective, bear in mind you're closest to the risk and have a unique perspective, what we could be doing that is an improvement that maybe we haven't thought of. But the point of that is you early doors building that cultural change, and you're bringing those employees along the journey, which supports the board.
It's an all-inclusive type thing,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like I've asked a lot of questions. Do you want to do one?
Yeah. So let's think about HR and health and safety together. Okay. So where do you see the strongest overlap between the two really in terms of, working together.
Yeah.
And I suppose let's just get the next question in as well. What happens if they don't?
Obviously, the main ingredient is people. We both have an interest in people. We have an interest in recruitment. We have an interest in their training and well-being. And we also want to know about absences. From a health and safety perspective, a lot of these things are interlinked with HR, or should be. They don't always start off that way, but that's the whole point. If we haven't got health and safety in there, but we've got HR, then once the two get embedded into the organisation, then they should be talking and working together, so that there's no misunderstanding or contradictory information going out there. From a well-being and absence point of view, then the HR, it's obvious where their interest lies. Yeah. It's a lot of it's absenteeism, but from my point of view, from the HR health and safety point of view, it's about root causes. Why is somebody off ill? If it's a mental health reason, is it something we need or the employer needs to address in terms of signposting? Is it something internal that's actually happening at work that we need to address? So that's the main areas that we work together on. And when it works well, then you can see that with the workforce, because they're a lot happier and focused, and they know they've got the support. Where it can go wrong is when the two areas work in silos. Mm-hmm. So, they do their bit, we do our bit, and never the two shall meet. Yeah. What that means, or what that looks like in practice, is mixed policies with information. This is how we do things, but the health and safety saying one thing and the HR saying another. We'll just do our own thing because we just don't believe what we're being told. It's about that joined up approach on things like induction. So, there will be a robust induction procedure, but does it include health and safety? And if it does include health and safety, is it just a sentence, or are we actually getting them to understand the health and safety policy and understanding the risk, that there are risk assessments, that there's or a safety management system that's there to help them? So all those things, if they're not integrated in with HR, will sit separately, and it just depends on the strength of who's delivering health and safety in the company to make sure that is delivered. But really, if you get a real smooth running HR and health and safety service going, then that should just be, synchronous, basically.
Yeah. I've seen it go wrong myself in terms of a retail background for me, and, there's been an accident and the HR manager's gone along and it's been manual handling, not my problem.
Yeah.
Over to health and safety. Well, actually, this is a person who's employed by the company.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to make sure they're all right, get your heads together and do it between you and get it right.
Yeah.
So it can go wrong, but, as you said, if both work side by side and don't see it as an individual role, health and safety induction, the employees are both, it can work. So, really interesting.
Yeah, and another quick example, if you're driving for work, HR might have a driving for work policy, but it'll stop short usually of adding things like, daily vehicle checks before you set off. Is the vehicle fit and proper? Are you safe and healthy to drive that vehicle?
Yeah.
And so that's an example of, working together where the policy could mention the daily vehicle check and things like this, that just reinforces you have a duty to do before you get behind the wheel of that vehicle.
Mm.
Next sort of section, we're going to look at when things go wrong, which they do inevitably, don't they, in all sort of walks of life. And when the incidents do occur, what would you say, in your experience, are the wider consequences for businesses? So if they don't have a policy in place, is it legal, financial, or sort of business, like reputational? Do they lose customers?
Thanks for that, Ollie. You've just answered my question.
Have I?
No. It was a good start. It was a good start. Yeah, you're quite right. When things go wrong, I think a lot of businesses don't appreciate just how much time and money is involved and reputation, as you say. So if you have somebody that has an accident and, let's say it's one that you must report to the HSE, whether they investigate it or it's just added to the statistics or not, it's the fact that that accident has happened. And then it has implications on insurance premiums, morale in the business itself. Well, if they don't address this happened, the reason it happened, and let's learn from it. If they just carry on as normal, then that will have an impact on people, particularly if someone's fallen off a ladder, for example, in the hour in hospital, which actually that would be reportable. But all these things, the unknown side of it, like I say, insurance premiums, crisis management. So if the HSE are involved, it's, you've probably got about an hour to put a crisis management plan together, which isn't enough time.
After the event?
Yeah, because you're going to get your local newspaper, your radio stations.
Mate, I love them articles.
Yeah, they want to know.
Good.
You live for them, don't you, Ollie?
Yeah, they want to know. And my advice is any company should have a crisis management plan ready to go. Because, if you don't respond to the press within that time frame, they'll soon dig out ex-employees or competitors, and the narrative suddenly changes from what you want to actually get out there. So, having a good crisis management plan in place as a start point is quite important. Okay, we hope most accidents never happen, and we hope if they do, they're only minor accidents. But the odd one, somebody falling off a 3-step up ladder, could actually, on the face of it, doesn't sound that bad, but it could be quite a serious accident, depending how they fall.
You do a lot of damage.
Yeah. So crisis management planning is certainly an important factor in that.
You're currently writing a book.
Yes.
Titled "Stop Choosing Between Safety and Profit."
Yes.
So what's the core message that you're looking to get out to small businesses and to take away?
Quite often when I speak to businesses, they're worried about the cost of health and safety.
Yeah.
So the idea behind the book is to sort of dismiss that as an issue, because a well-run company that involves health and safety in its normal day-to-day operations is thinking about its profit. Because, if you've got your processes in place, you've got your safety in place, you're less likely to have accidents, so less downtime, less investigation, all the points that we talked about just before in terms of the damage to your reputation, etc., and cost. So I'm trying to show, and I can give an example actually of where health and safety can actually save money. So if you have higher risk activities at work that a standard risk assessment just won't cut it, then you would write something called a safe system of work. And that's a set of instructions of how to do something safely. So whether that's handling a piece of glass on a cutting machine, it's something that you feel you need to spell out. Now, quite often when we look at that, we involve the employee as well, that's actually the operator. And we can find things like, hang on a minute, that piece of glass has moved 4 times before it's actually ended up at this machine to be cut. And we could just take it from one place straight there, get the glass cut, and off it goes. And that's because we've taken the time to look at the processes.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say there is that there's a lot of time and effort into moving glass, for example. Whereas if it's actually in the right place at the right time, then we've saved time. So that's just one little example of where, when you actually look at a process in detail, okay, we're talking about health and safety, but we're actually looking at the process. And there might be some time saving or some money saving aspects to that role, to that process that we just not thought about because we haven't taken the time. Right. So health and safety can actually save time and save money just by the fact that you're looking into that particular process from a safety perspective, but it brings along other operational money saving and time saving as well.
It makes me think about like Jenga. You know, if it was stacked correctly, it would never fall.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So, you know, you save money that way.
Yeah.
It's time spent for the sake of long-term efficiency.
It is, yeah.
Is that fairly accurate to say?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the cost of health and safety, I mean, a claim for an accident would outweigh that cost. So actually, you're saving money by putting the practices in place, I assume.
You are, and you're also influencing cultural change. And so it's leading to a happier workforce, and a happier workforce is a more productive workforce and more willing to put themselves out for you because they feel valued. So yeah, it's again, that's another aspect that helps with profitability.
I do like numbers. Can either of you give me a number of a money number that someone might be liable to receive if they lost their leg or something? Crazy sort of thing, but if they lost their leg.
Well, don't
be dramatic, Ollie.
Well,
what are we looking at?
Are you thinking, is it worth losing a leg here or what?
Don't need the right one, really.
I mean, there's two aspects to this. There's first of all the HSE investigation, and they're fine.
Right.
So that's only one aspect. And that's a percentage of turnover when they find a company culpable. So it's a percentage of turnover.
So if they find the company,
yes,
and the employee will receive the money.
No. So this is the HSE fine.
Right. Okay.
And this is what most people don't realise. Once that, or sometimes alongside that, has happened, then the individual makes a personal claim for loss of income, etc., adjustments.
Or leg.
Or lack of leg.
Or lack of, for a lack of leg. So what's that restrict to them? If they are on the way up, this has now stopped that. What loss of earnings are they going to suffer over that lifetime? So, I mean, I'm not a legal expert, but, you can tell by the conversation that it's a lot of money.
There's a few different things and they all add up to a big one.
Yeah. The HSE side is paid by, obviously, the company. Everyone thinks that, insurance will pay it all. Well, that's not the case. So it is quite important to get it right.
And is it always a company, or is it ever an individual person that works for the company?
If in the investigation there is evidence that the directors have knowingly tried to do things or hide information about the accident or being negligent, knowingly negligent, then yes, they personally can, at the worst case, depending on which side you're talking to, they could end up with imprisonment. So yes, they are responsible. It could be fines. It just depends on the actual circumstances of the case.
All important stuff, that's for sure.
Moving parts. Final question, very brief one. I don't expect you to have an answer, to be honest, but what guest would you invite on to this if you had to choose anyone?
Well, the obvious answer is somebody that's started off where I talked at the very beginning, that has no health and safety support or practices in place, has gone through the process and has now recognised that health and safety is actually not a business disruptor, but actually helps business move along. So having somebody on that would be an advocate.
They've had a, what's it called?
An epiphany?
That's the one, an epiphany. Finishing each other's sentences. It's only been half an hour, Simon.
Yeah, absolutely.
We like to see that. Anything you want to add or ask, Michelle?
No, I look forward to reading your book.
Yes, thank you.
I really do. It is impressive.
It's not a heavy book. The idea is it's more, I need to get on top of my health and safety. I'm not ready for an external consultant yet. I need to get started. And it's practical steps with template documentation for them to have a start point. And make that first step, really. They grow so much they need a full-time health and safety in-house professional, or they can reach out to a consultant.
And they'll give
I love
you
a book that you can pick up and put down. You can just tap in and out of when you get a minute. I like a book like that.
I'm doing it again, like a blueprint.
Yes.
a blueprint for people, isn't it? I like that.
It is, but it's all the heavy words are taken out. It's literally written simply because that's what small businesses want.
We like that.
We like simplicity.
Yes.
Short plug before we go. We've got a health and safety e-learning course available. If you want to inquire about it and you're interested, please give us a call. I'm not very good at sales, as you can tell. But yeah, good fun that for your first podcast. I think. I hope you enjoyed yourself, mate.
I did. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next time. Like, comment, subscribe. Cheers. Until next time, we're your hosts signing off from HRER. Take care of your HR and may your workplace be disaster-free. Before we go, a big thank you to you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have your own ER stories or suggestions for future episodes, reach out to us at Heroes or on social media, or even hrer@heroes.co.uk. As we navigate the maze of workplace blunders, remember that no organisation is perfect, but by sharing these stories, we can all work towards creating healthier, happier and more productive workplaces.